Hello, I'm Rebecca the Maths Lady, and welcome to this video series which is all about teaching maths to the children who are facing the most challenges in the post-lockdown academic year of 2021 to 22. This is the first video in the series which is about teaching the first formal year of education, which is reception class in England or P1 in Scotland or whatever it is in your country. I'm going to refer to it as reception class because I'm based mainly in England, but it's the year that children start when they are 4 or 4 to 5 years old. Now this is far and away the easiest video because most schools start teaching this year from scratch as if the children have no prior learning. So you're not going to be dealing with the major issues that children are bringing to your class in the same ways that teachers of other year groups are. So this will be a really short video just with some key tips and a really nice special product if you've got a little bit of budget to spend at the beginning of this year that I recommend. So there are two key things that you need to do for your children with their maths this year. The first is that when they come to you, do not assume that all of them really know what number is. Some children, when you say the numbers 3 or 4 in particular, they have a really confused idea of what that means. They know that I am 4, but that 4 in their age is part of a sequence of numbers. It's not 4 objects. This is a confusion between the ordinality and the cardinality of number, the difference between fourth and 4 things. So in those first few weeks, you need to diagnose any children who are struggling with that. Make sure every child can gather 1, 2, 3 or 4 things from a larger group of objects if you ask them to do that, and intervene if they can't, so that your whole class are going to be ready to explore numbers together. So that's the beginning of your year. And the other key thing is that by the end of your year, all your children should have a really good working knowledge of the numbers up to 10. They should be able to gather up to 10 objects from a larger group. And if you show them a number of objects, they should be able to write or draw in the air the digit for that number of objects. There's a lot more to working on each of the numbers to 10 than just those 2 skills. But if every child in your class has got those 2 skills, you've got great foundations in place for the future. Beyond that, the next priority is that your children need to develop motor sensory integration, coordinating their visual inputs and their auditory inputs and their knowledge of their position in space. This involves doing exercises like snow angels. If you're not quite sure what that means, then I recommend this book, The Maze of Learning, which you can buy easily from Amazon, or here's a link to a free video which explains more about that, which you can watch now. Then beyond that, we want to work in tremendous detail on each of those numbers to 10, developing all the aspects of those numbers, like children being able to hear them, say them, recognise, subbatize the small numbers, conceptually subbatize the larger numbers as dice images or as 5s and 1s, be able to partition those numbers and do additions to those numbers, do the doubles and halves associated with those numbers, and so on. And beyond that, your children will also need to do some lovely work on patterns, on shape, on measure, including time, weight, length, capacity, so that they develop a foundational understanding of each of these big ideas and they start to know some of the vocabulary so that their experiences in life start to click into place and make sense to them. And it can be a really good idea to do some of these topics early on in the year while you're focusing on making sure that all children have a good understanding of their small numbers before you start to work on the numbers 5 to 10 and so on, which you want to do when all your students are ready for that. So if you want to know more about teaching this class really, really well, here's a link to my video series on teaching this year group. That whole video series takes about 2 hours to watch start to finish. Beyond that, I recommend signing up for Karen Wilding's resources, which you pay a small subscription to, although she often offers things for free. The final tip I'm going to leave you with is a lovely product which I didn't mention in my series on teaching this year group because I didn't know about it then, and it is the number caterpillar, the magnetic number caterpillar. It contains these gorgeous parts like this, hold together beautifully, and every child in your class is going to want to learn to do that number caterpillar on their own. That will help them explore their numbers to 20. So if you've got just a little bit of budget to spend at the beginning of the year, I recommend this. Right, that's it. It's time I moved on to the next year of teaching, which is facing far more challenges. If you've any questions at any stage, if you're facing particular challenges, please post questions underneath this video or come to my live streams where I take your questions live every Sunday at 9 AM British time on this Rebecca the Maths Lady channel on YouTube. I'd love to hear what's going on for you. The more challenging the situation, the more I want to know. I hope you have a really wonderful and enjoyable year teaching this year. And if you're struggling, I'm here to help you. Bye for now.